Yo, what's up? Ogechi Aghaji, aka Oaghaji here, back in the building with another review. Now, before I begin, just want to let y'all know, as usual, that if y'all hear me talk in the background, noises and whatnot, that is my family. Even though it's a little quiet right now, I just want to give y'all a heads up just in case. Now, with that out of the way, let's begin this review. Now, today's review for y'all dudes and dudettes, niggas and niggerettes, excuse me, and dudes and dudettes, is the 1976 Hong Kong Kung Fu film classic from the Shaw Brothers Studios, the new Shaolin Boxers, or known by its literal Chinese title, the Choi Li Fut Kid, and it stars Alexander Sheng, Wang Wai, Leung Liu Ti, Jenny Chen, and Leung and many more. And the fight choreography is done by, I got my notes right here, Tin-Tai or Shen-I, uh, Hing or Hsing, Leung or Chen Liang, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, and it's directed by Cheh and co-directed by Wang, and it's written by Cheh and Kuang. Now, let's begin on with this review by talking about the plot. Now, the story revolves around Zhong Jian, a hot-headed kung fu student who is willing to help the weak against a bunch of ruthless gangsters led by Feng Tianshan, played by Wang Wai. His impulsive heroism, however, will get him into trouble. Will get him into trouble, excuse me, which will lead him to train under a kung fu master who is skilled in the southern Chinese kung fu style, Choi Li Fut. After completing his training, he decides to enact his revenge after he finds out that his master was killed by Feng Tianshan. Will he get his revenge? Who knows? You have to find out in this film. Spoiler alert, he does get his revenge. But I'm not gonna, and that's all I'm gonna spoil for y'all, cause y'all need to watch this movie. Anyways, the story in this film is actually pretty good. I definitely enjoyed it. You know what I'm saying? You have this hot-headed, kung fu fighter who wants to do the right thing. You know what I'm saying? Against a bunch of ruthless gangsters. You know what I'm saying? But his impulsive heroism will get him into trouble. You know what I'm saying? And with the, with some injuries, and because of this, he has to, study under a kung fu master, a monk who is a skilled practitioner in Choi Li Fut. You know what I'm saying? The training wasn't easy at first, you know what I'm saying? He has to do some tasks, you know what I'm saying, as you would see in other kung fu films in Hong Kong, Taiwan, back in the 1970s. But he progresses, you know what I'm saying, with the training, you know what I'm saying, when he eventually, learns it. And he definitely makes progress, you know what I'm saying, with the forms and techniques and the sword, you know what I'm saying? It's just awesome. And like I said, he gets his revenge, you know what I'm saying? And, like I said, he decides to get his revenge, excuse me. I almost spoiled it for y'all. I apologize, the brain fogs and being tongue tied. Anyways, Alexander Fusheng did a fantastic job as Zhong Chen, you know what I'm saying? I definitely enjoyed his character. Also, like Tseng as Miss Wang, you know what I'm saying? She did a fantastic job in her role. Liu Ti did a good job in his role. Leung Gayan, aka Beardy, aka Brian Leung, did a good job as the henchman. You know what I'm saying? This is a very good role for him. And during that time. Wang Long Wai as Feng Tianshan was awesome. He always does a good job playing these villain roles, especially in the films with Lao Gala as well. You know what I'm saying? I definitely enjoyed his role in Martial Club where he plays a good guy for once. You know what I'm saying? A Northern Chinese kung fu master opposite Lao Gafai, aka Gordon Liu, as a young Wong Fei Hong, and as well as his role as Kong Jun Jun in Clan of the White Lotus, directed by Lo Li. Anyways, and there were some. Was there any comedic moments? Yeah, there were some comedic moments, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong, but not too much. You know what I'm saying? Because it's mostly serious. You know what I'm saying? And the drama is just very top notch. You know what I'm saying? Kuang and Cheh did a fantastic job with the script. I think. Um, Especially during the end fight, which I will get into a little bit. You'll know what I'm talking about for those of y'all that watch the film. I definitely recommend y'all watching this in its original language, which is Chinese, which is Mandarin. You know what I'm saying? The Cantonese films were starting to get its popularity back, but not yet. But it gets there. But anyways, I don't want to drag this too long. Yeah, the story, characters, acting, and drama, very solid, very fantastic. So each get a out of five. I could definitely say. Damn, I'm getting tongue tied and the brain farts already. I need to work on that. Anyways, the action in this film is just top notch, y'all. The fight choreography is just fantastic, and a great display of Choi Li fight. I can definitely say. This isn't the first film to feature Choi Li. There was another Hong Kong kung fu film that features Choi Li, but it's a black and white film that was made in 1970 or 1971, I believe. And it has Sheng, who played Mr. Hong from Enter the Dragon, as the main villain in that film, and who he's also well known for playing the villains in those old black and white Wang Fei Hong films starring Kuang King as well. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. Anyway, so this is where I like the second film that features Charlie Fott in the main stage. And later on there will be Charlie Fott Kung Fu starring Cliff Locke or Gum Tong back in 1977 or 78, 79, and that was made in Taiwan. Anyways, the film does a good job in displaying Charlie Fight in the fight scenes. The fight choreographers nailed it, you know what I'm saying, with the techniques, the fist techniques as well as the sword techniques or the Dao techniques. You know what I'm saying? I definitely enjoy it. Every fight feels awesome and intense. Some classic old school kung fu shapes that a lot of kung fu film fans will enjoy. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, the fight scenes were very well shot, very well edited and lit too. And the film as a whole was shot very well too, especially, in it's mostly shot in the Shaw Brothers studios. You know what I'm saying? Especially in the Clearwater Bay, you know what I'm saying? But, it definitely pulls you into, Republic era China, you know what I'm saying? With its cinematography and lighting, you know what I'm saying? So, and the music pretty good, you know what I'm saying? It mostly uses library music, but it works, in my opinion. So the action, cinematography, editing, lighting, as well as the music, 5 out of 5. Overall, the new Shaolin Boxers is an awesome 1976 Hong Kong kung fu film classic from Shaw Brothers, starring the late great Alexander Sheng, and a great display of the Southern Chinese kung fu style Charlie Five. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely recommend y'all checking this out. This film gets a 4.5 out of 5. Hopefully y'all enjoy this review, despite some hiccups like the brain farts and being tongue tied and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I was doing this off the cuff, as well as like reading the notes and things like that. So, I humbly apologize. I'm gonna work on it as best as I can. I'm gonna get better at that. Anyways, let me know what y'all think about the new Shaolin Boxers in the comments below if y'all watched it already. If y'all enjoy this video, y'all can hit that like button and share it. Subscribe to the channel. If y'all enjoy this type of content, y'all can also follow me on my other social media accounts as well. And stay tuned for more reviews and more other videos along the way. With all that said, it's your boy Ogechi Aghaji, aka Oaghaji, aka the perfect sensei from the West Coast, signing out. Peace.